Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We have an amazing show planned for you. If you hadn't heard, Jango is officially banned. That's right, you heard it here first. Jango is banned. Actually, you didn't hear it here first, but it's fun to say that. Anyway, tonight we have a show planned for you where we're going to talk a little bit about the suspensions, what it means for the meta, what decks are probably going to come up on the rise. We're also going to talk a little bit about, there was a new card leaked. I don't know if it was supposed to be leaked or not, but we're going to cover it because why not? And if that wasn't enough for you, we do have some first look at some tournament results without Jango in the meta, as well as some first cool lists that we've been piloting that just seem like a lot of fun. With that being said, let me bring in my co-host for tonight. Please welcome to the show, Mr. JJ. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right. Got a new hatch and wearing it tonight. I happened to just come in from a family dinner. But yeah, enjoying it, man. Just still recovering from my long trip at Worlds, which had a great time. But I'm excited, man. The banning for the new cards definitely had me reconsidering some old lists that I haven't looked at in quite some time. But I'm excited to go through that tonight.
All right. Also joining me is Alex. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing okay. Played in the Winna box over in Ann Arbor yesterday. That was a good time. Decided to just try to ruin everyone's day and bring the trench deck. And, sometimes you just mess up and lose. And sometimes you dig 35 cards deep for a Super Laser Blast and you just don't get one. But, no, it was a good time. It was fun. I played a bunch of really interesting decks, and the owner of the store actually was the one that came in first. So like the prizes that he got, he just distributed out to the other people who didn't get prizing. So that was fantastic. Yeah, nice. That was really cool.
Yeah, I should have gone. I didn't do that. I did go play in locals. I've been playing over in Hudsonville on Saturdays. A lot of the guys that go to the Zealand shop also go to the Hudsonville shop. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, like it's the same kind of crowd, but at the same time, sometimes we get some new people there. But they're a nice shop to support, and since it's a lot closer than the Grand Haven shop I used to go to, and a lot of the locals there just kind of died out for some reason. I don't know why. But the people stopped playing up there, so I just stopped going. And so whatever, it is what it is. But I ran my Vader deck, which finally I can run again without Jango in the meta. And that was fun. Both locals I went 3-0 with this week. Though I will tell you, there's like Han Green. Man, that Han Green! I tell you what, when that thing goes off and you don't have an answer, it just like you just shrug your shoulders and smile and go, "Thanks. I'll bend over a little bit farther." Because yeah, when it goes off, and there's a new Han Green that's kind of going around that's got like trying to build a little bit taller and stuff like that.
Classic Han Green.
Yeah, and so it's kind of cool to see, like it's fun to see Han and Chewie on the Falcon, right? So I don't know. I'm still waiting. People keep wanting to trade me my Han 1 showcase. It's like, well, really, I think the only thing I would ever trade that for is like a Palpatine 1 showcase. I think I've just decided that that's the only thing I would trade for at this current time. Unless somebody was like, here, I'll give you 3 showcases for 1, then maybe I would.
I got Holdo, I got Rose, I got Chirrut. There you go. That's 3 right there.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't think you've
Gunray.
You haven't even hit $100 yet at this point. Next, they're going to say you've got Jin.
I wish.
Oh my god!
But I still have the Pal showcase, so
No, I mean,
I don't want that hot one. I want for my Emperor Palpatine.
So
the most gorgeous showcase.
Yeah, I've thought about it, but it's just like I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just going to be like no matter what, I'll always play it, even when we get to the extended modes. Which my assumption is this summer, late fall, they'll kind of tell us like what rotation looks like in terms of like competitive play. And at that point, if it looks like we're not going to have competitive play for it, then I'll just trade it away and be done with it. But my assumption is we'll have competitive play, and when we go to competitive play for like that, I'll probably just want to continue to play Han. And if we don't have a banned list, I could play my Han DJ again. So
Oh, great, cool.
You'll love it. Well, speaking of which, for our Galactic Gazette today, we have news and spoilers. The news: these 3 cards got banned. I don't think they're. I will be honest and say the DJ one is a little kind of a surprise. I was not like. I didn't think that they would actually ban it. I thought that they would just correct the verbiage that you can't burn your own somebody else's card, and that you just do a rules update that fixes at least the negative play part of it. But
well, they'd have to rat it to say that.
No, you could just update the rules. The rules can just literally state you cannot destroy cards you don't own. If they put that in the rules, that he could no longer do that.
I guess, but don't the cards like supersede the rules, right? So that would still cause that issue. Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. But either which way, like, so they just straight up banned DJ, they straight up banned Triple Dark Raid, and obviously they banned Jango. I'm not surprised with the Triple Dark Raid in any way, shape, or form, and like I would rather them not have banned Jango and like let's just take care of some of these other cards, like Triple Dark Raid, for example. Like, can we just dump it? But I guess like it makes sense when Jango is that much of the meta. They talked about it on their stream. We aren't going to cover in like extreme detail, but they were saying Jango was like 50-60% of the meta. And it's like it was up in the same percentage for wins. And so they felt it was just easier to ban the card now than to let the rest of the season play out where everybody had to play against Jango. So I'm happy I never bought a Jango showcase, I guess. So
Yeah. And I think that's kind of feels bad, right? Like all the people that, obviously are big Jango Fett fans. Jango Fett has always been a popular character in Star Wars. And, there are people that, as soon as he got announced, went out to buy all the showcases and stuff. And now they can't really use it. And it's kind of, it feels bad. But same time, it kind of happens with card games, on the normal. So
I was about to say that's just the nature of CCGs, is that sometimes balance changes have to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think that's fine. I mean, they could have just taken care of a few of the other things, other ships as in the end, and let Jango live. They could have also rotted him like we had talked about, but they did none of that. They just banned him. So we are suspended. I apologize. It's not banned. It's suspended. I keep saying banned, but it might be the same thing. The Triple Dark Raid, I'm actually happy that they did that. I think that card was like overpowered for its cost. Like maybe it never was before we didn't have a bunch of space units, but I mean, when everybody when basically you're told you have to run that card to have a competitive yellow deck, villain deck, it's just like, come on, like I shouldn't have to have that specific card.
Yeah, I mean, if maybe you didn't dig as deep as 7 cards, or like destroyed the unit instead of returning it to your hand, or bottomed it on the deck or something, who knows?
Yeah, that would
actually
be
bottoming it on the deck would make a lot more sense.
Yep. Yeah, it would be a lot better too, right? I think it just was a card designed that people just didn't think about. Oh, we're gonna have a whole set that's gonna be like pilots and ships, and now like look at that. Because next set they're not even talking about it's going to be Force units and Sith units and stuff like that. It's not going to be a bunch of ships. So this set is what really made Triple Dark Raid overpowered. So I actually agree with it. I'm happy like to just not have to include it any longer in my builds, and I don't even have to think about it anymore. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it happened because switching some things up. I mean, we had our opinions on it, last episode or whatever, but FFG just didn't release like a deck list. It was like, here you go, guys, just hard counter, and they don't want just hard control for all the meta. So I get it, cowards.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like, that would be so much better. Just give that to me and call it a day. Then,
just nothing but hard control, exhilarating, fun gameplay, very interactive though. Technically,
it is because all you're doing is you're each killing your thing.
I interact with every single one of their units they put down when I blow them off with Super Laser Blast.
I've had to play against a Bosk Blue control with the trench deck.
I'm sure he just destroyed it.
The first game, he milled 2 of my vigilance with his first vigilance, and then I had a restock, and I restocked him to the bottom. And then he was like, you could see like it took a few seconds for him to play his next card, and then I did Search Your Feelings, and then I was able to afford the vigilance at 6 costs in the same churn, and then he was like, oh. He's like, this isn't going to be fun. And I was like, well, I mean, you could just drop. And they have a new way online where you can do this best of 3. And like supposedly it penalizes you if you like agree to this match. I don't know. It was like this verbiage that popped up and it said, hey, this is best of 3. If you don't want to do that, just get out now. Otherwise, you could be suspended from the software. And I was like, well, I guess I'd play a best of 3. Like nobody else does it. This is kind of fun. So then the best of 3 came up and he wanted to do it. And like, yeah, all I did was just I just hit all my Bazines. Every one of my Bazines I just hit. Like I didn't play Bazine until like the very end. And then at the very end, it was hilarious because he had 2 Bazines and I had 3. And we were restocking our Bazines to like pull out cards. And like finally I hit his last restock and there's nothing he could do. And the whole time I've got Trench on the board. So like he's burning cards to kill Trench. Well, Trench flips, mills the cards out. I get to restock them same turn because, you know, like I could do that. And then like one time I had 2 restocks in hand at once. And so I was able to put 8 cards into my deck. And then, but yeah, I just had Trench sitting on the board. And then after a while, he stopped trying to kill Trench. So I just started hitting his base for 4 every time. And then it was like, oh, sorry. And so then like in the end, we all ended up with like 2 cards each. Like finally we each got each of our restocks and Bazines all gone. And we came down to 2 cards each. And all I did was just hit pass. And then he played 1 card and only had 1 card left. I just flip Trench out and I go, all right, now it's a race, baby. We're going to take 6 damage each and I'm going to hit you for 4. Who's going to win this one?
Yeah, actually, I played against a mono blue Iden, but they don't have restock in that deck. It was like on their side or whatever. So that didn't work out well for them. I'm just like, I could do this all day. Like literally, we're just like, I think I had at one point like 13 cards in hand with like 8 resources down because we were just like, yeah, draw the cards off. I am your father because I'm trying to mill you out. So
yeah.
That Trench deck should beat the rest of the heart control, but go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the main story. Like, I mean, I did play it quite a bit this weekend, just casually online, because I think it's fun to play against people, just because
it's a very fun deck to play, and it's very difficult, and it's very like mentally challenging to like try to get all the lines and everything right. It's just everyone will hate you for playing the deck because it's a stupid heart control deck. Reasonably hate you.
No. So anyway, it was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't know if heart control will come back. I mean, that kind of we could talk a little bit about that. I do believe that control will come a little bit up to a rise. It kind of depends on how much Sabine we see though, right? Like if we see a lot of Sabine, control will have a little bit harder at a time. Though I will tell you that Trench deck, it doesn't have as hard of its as hard of a time as I thought it was going to with it. I actually don't like the Quinlan matchup as much. If I'm not careful, Quinlan can discard enough cards that I can't stop his board state once he hits that like 8 resource mark, and he could pull it down like 4 or 5 units. I guess it depends if you could get your super laser blast, but if he hits the good cards, you don't have much choice. Like you have to flip Trench, and he's not usually milling your hand by the time he hits that board state of 8 resources. So I have found Quinlan is not super fun to play into. Red-green villain can be tasking depending on how many crate dragons they have. And if your only removal is high-cost removal, sucks. I had a guy have a crate dragon. I played the I Am Your Father on the crate dragon, because that was like the only removal card I had, and he let me draw the 3 cards and then did 3 damage to my base. I was like, God damn it! And so I had to play another spell to kill it. So that then after that it was like I happened to get a Rival's Fall, so that was great, but that was another 6 damage. So I ended up taking 9 damage. I got 3 cards out of it, but I don't know. So I guess let's talk a little bit about what do we think is going to be. I think Quinlan Tarkentown is going to be super hot right now. I actually think that's a good deck.
The next deck kind of pegged to be like the next big one, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun, I guess.
Yeah. We'll look at. We have some actual results from tournaments. They're all over the board, though. I think like it's not like we're seeing everyone be won by a Sabine, everyone be won by a Han, everyone be won by a Quinlan. So, I am a little excited because the meta is open. Richmond sectional is coming up in 2 weeks. I am driving there with a couple of people from Michigan, so I probably won't be on my best game, but I'm going anyway.
It's only a casual like 9 hours. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. For us, it's 11. So, yeah, yep. So, but it is what it is. Like, and it was funny because he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna take turns driving." I was like, "Oh man!" Like, I was hoping you just drive the full 11 hours. I didn't want to drive. I just was gonna go for the ride. It was like I don't want to ride either. But so we'll see how well that goes. Because we'll just see how well that goes. But I want to go anyway, just because I haven't been to something like an event that big outside of like a Worlds type thing in X-Wing. And so it'll be my first larger event. And then we have PQ season coming up. Like, so we pushed our Sword Champ to June. It's like unless you could get it in this next weekend, you got sectionals in Minnesota and in Richmond. And then you also have, like, in our area, we have PQs in Chicago and Detroit all in like in a row. So basically it's super fun. So
yeah.
I'm going to try to convince the wife maybe she wants to go to Chicago with us, and then we'll go, or maybe meet me up in Chicago on Saturday night, and then that way if I win, it won't matter. She can go get the hotel, get the kids in the pool, and then the next day we can go like see some museums, because that's always fun. I always love going to the museums out in Chicago. That's probably one of my favorite things to do in Chicago. So I don't know. We'll see. Anybody else think of anything else? Otherwise, we'll move on to the one spoiler we got.
No, it's an exciting spoiler.
Yeah.
All right, so Alex, you can have the honor since you're the one that brought it to my attention. We have a new Dooku. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a Darth Tyrannus Dooku. It's a 4-cost, just straight villainy. This one is the event exclusive one. I believe it was like some Comic-Con somewhere. It is a 4 Separatist Sith unit. It is a 4/3 shielded. And while the Force is with you, it just gains ambush. Don't even have to spend the Force.
Yeah,
just if you have the Force, then, just got 4/3 shielded ambush. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? You don't have to spend the Force. You don't get it back, I guess, again, but you don't have to spend it. So
right,
like crazy.
Seems interesting for like a Gar Saxon deck, right? Because he is just ambushing in for 5.
Yep.
Which is pretty nuts and doesn't die. It is a special rarity, which all the event exclusives are a special rarity, but also like the event exclusive cards were like Grogu and like Luke and Vader, which were like starter pack cards, right? Which have the special rarity. So this might be in the starter deck, but also all like the black Comic-Con or all the black convention exclusive cards, right? Like the Palpatine, the Vader, the Dooku. Those are all special rarity instead of the normal rarity. So who knows? But it looks really cool. Like the art's really good. I know JJ, you were talking about it before the cast.
Yeah, I like this spoiler a lot because this is it looks like it's a still from Attack of the Clones, right when he's facing off against Obi-Wan and Anakin. And I hope that we get a version of this, but for Yoda, where he's like, he drops the cane and he like force pulls his lightsaber to face off against Darth Tyrannus. Like just that moment, right? The artwork showing like the aura around Darth Tyrannus is just awesome, and I would love to see a Yoda variant of that as well. So yeah, I can't wait. This artwork looks amazing, and I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of that.
Yeah, my assumption is this will come in some. We'll get this somehow in some way, shape, or form. Whether it comes in the mall deck or if it just comes like as part of, comes as like part of the regular standard packs. I want to know what the prestige for this looks like so bad. Like I just want to know what the prestige card is gonna look like. I really wish they would spoil, like, since this is already kind of spoiled, like just give us the prestige version of this. You don't have to do any of the other stuff, like just that, because I don't know. I actually don't think I will buy any regular boxes. I think I'm just gonna buy Carbonite boxes this set because of the prestige, like the way they look, and just like I think I'm just gonna do that.
I believe they said that they're all going to be like the unique Force users, right?
Yes, they are.
That's a very smart business decision right there, because people are going to go crazy for a bunch of really cool looking units, right? So
yeah.
So I don't know.
Dark Sidious prestige.
That would be pretty cool, you know. But if we talk through like and we look at, like, I know the designer that was on the Destiny team is no longer at FFG, but the fun thing would be is like this designer piece here, right? Like if like we used to get Dooku's like lightsabers, that was like a thing, and we had Kylo, we had Rey's lightsaber. So I'm actually really genuinely hoping that we get a whole bunch of cool lightsabers for both sides, and they can't just all be blue, right? Like, let's just not make them blue for every absolute freaking thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have like Kylo's lightsaber, right? Because at least like that is the most unique looking of all the lightsabers.
Yeah,
because I guess you need a hilt. So it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I like it. I think it's going to be something that is played or something that will be played quite a bit if you're playing villain. So I'm on the verge of just switching to villain only at this point in my life, since that seems to be like the bed I live in is villain this, villain that. Like, I mean, Trench, Vader, Kira, Palp. Like, I haven't taken down anything with a hero deck. Oh, I did. I took a Star Showdown down with a Quinlan deck. There you go. I did do that. So.
Yep.
That was the only hero deck I've won with. So. But, all right. Well, let's move on. Want to talk our Chaos of War segment this week. We're going to talk about what the meta looks like without Jango. Chaos of War segment tonight. We're going to be talking about set 4 week 412 tournament results. This is the first week we do not have Jango, and there is no major tournaments. This week and next week are very silent on major tournaments, but we got a bunch of store showdowns. There's a 1K that happened, and we're going to cover a little bit of that, so you can kind of see some of the winners. There's a CAD data vault in there, which is hilarious. I guess it makes sense because you can add even more bounty hunter garbage into your deck and Underworld. So I did not pick that deck to look at. Maybe we should have, but as you can see, a couple of Quinlans making the rounds, a couple of CADs. There's a blue Palpatine that made that 1-1. Sabine got a couple of wins, and then of course good old Han Yellow, especially this red cap corner. Like that's definitely that one is understandable that's like Han Yellow. So let's just get into the Missy K is the first one I kind of chose. This was the Quinlan Tarkentown. This is not like super different, I don't think, than the one that they were running again without Jango. That Radiant is definitely a spicy new edition card.
Man, I love the Radiant so much. I've always championed that card. I love that card.
Yeah, I have that in my my Boba deck still, even though like getting to 7 resources is like hell with Boba, but I have that in my Boba deck. So I don't know, Alex. Why don't you take this one? Let's actually go through this list because I just want to talk through a little bit of some of the strategy of this list. Because you'll probably be facing this list quite a bit.
Sure, this is Quinlan Tarkin down. Very much targets the hand. That's kind of the shtick. It's got a triple force throw, double the hotshot blaster, triple A-wing, triple L3, triple Sabine, the 2-cost one, I guess, because this is yellow deck. So triple the X-34 land speeder, double bamboozle, triple sparkler bellion, triple surprise strike, triple Cassian, triple Ezra, triple the 3-cost yellow falcon, double red 5, double waylay, triple 4-cost Ahsoka, triple Kira, triple Plo, double the 7-cost Han, and then a Radiant 7. In the sideboard, you got triple Jam Communications, just specifically for us, Tanner.
Yep.
Double the Disabling Fang Fighter, double Tech, double of the Shadow Hover Tank, the 5/3 Ground Sentinel for 4, and then one more 7-cost Han Solo to round out. And again, it's make your hand very small. Try to exhaust some stuff, and just hit for as much damage as you can. Really fast. I've played a very similar version of this. Mine's a little bit different. But yeah, it's very effective. It's very annoying to go against.
Yeah, and it's funny because pillage was always in these decks, and look, there's no pillage. Not even the sideboard. There's no pillage.
I wouldn't run pillage in this either. I don't have it in mind, even in the sideboard either. It's just like, well, like at this point, really, this is discarding 2 cards out of their hand worth 4 resources when I can just play an Ahsoka and rip one randomly, or well, I mean, they decided, but like random to me, or like Kira, so I can see their hand and just pump up whatever they had want them to play.
Yeah. So I do like it. The deck does have spice to it, right? Like, especially if you go into the later game, you could play a Cassian for 5, and then you can smuggle out a hotshot blaster on them, and like there's some weird, dirty things that this deck can do. It's a little funny. There's no pilots. Like, I would at least like expect like maybe a 1 Han in there or something. Like a Han pilot would be very, very good because it's an ambush unit as well as a Falcon, can go on that Falcon. But
sure, but like Plo Koon hits much harder.
I guess that's true.
For the same cost. Like only having 3 Falcons, I think I'm more down on the 5-cost Han unit than most people anyways, Han pilot, but you only have 3 Millennium Falcons, and that's the only marginal benefit you get out of it. Like special benefit as opposed to just normal pilot. So I'd rather play Plo Koon, who hits much harder, and then also in Quinlan, you can hit the 7 health 5-cost leaders like an opposing Quinlan, and one shot him with Plo Koon or something like that, like Bosk or whatever. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right. The next one we have, JJ, is a Sabine Tarkin Town, which this was the number 2 list at that Misty 1K, and it even has a green card in it. Which is just I don't whatever. This is this is a JJ deck right here. This has got like a bunch of 2 costs and 1 cost. Like
exactly.
So what is this deck? This is definitely different than the red Tarkin or the red Sabine we talked about before. So
yeah, for sure. So this one definitely really interesting here. So we got 3 copies of Benthic 2 tubes, 2 Crackshot V-Wings, 2 copies of Mr. Bones. Thank you. That is a great add-on, by the way. I love that, Mr. Bones. 3 copies of R2-D2, 3 copies of Soldier of the 501st. We got 2 Spec Force Soldiers, 2 daring raids rather, 1 heroic sacrifice, 1 rebel assault. That's the off color one here, where you're paying 3 for rebel assault there, but we'll come back to that in a minute. 3 heroic resolves, 1 Bo-Katan Kryze, 2 green squadron A-wings, 2 red squadron Y-wings, 3 copies of Sabine Wren, 1 copy of Armed to the Teeth. That's definitely a choice. 2 Twice the Pride, 3 copies of Cassian Andor, and Fighter Warriors for Freedom, 2 copies of Fleet Lieutenants and Red 3 and Wing Leader, a copy of Chaos of War, 1 K2SO, and 3 copies of Aggression. And then on the sideboard, we have an additional copy of Twice the Pride, 2 more Armed to the Teeth, and then we have an additional Spec Force Officer, Rebel Assault, Chaos of War, 3 copies of Pillage, and then finally the last one there is another copy
System Shock.
System Shock there. So I do understand why they want to get that out of aspect Rebel Assault, right? You have plenty of Rebel units where you can really take advantage of it and get like some big hits on it. The only problem with it though is that the majority of your Rebel units are going to be higher costed, right? So you know, you got the majority of them coming in on your 3 and 4 cost plays, which you're probably waiting to play this on a turn 5 or probably a turn 5 after you deploy Sabine on the board there.
I think all of them are Rebel except for Bo.
No, majority of their low cost ones, like Mr. Bones, the Crackshot V Wing,
exactly,
the 501st Soldier.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those low cost, you know, they're good for the beginning, right? Those first play cards to go in there, but they're not going to benefit much from that Rebel Assault, right? So you're talking about like turn 4 or 5, when assuming that you have, you know, your Sabine Ren generic in there, and then your leader out there, and then maybe a Cassian Andor if you don't smuggle him. You know, those units would benefit from it, or the Green Squadron A-Wing on space as well, that would benefit from it. So this is playing a little bit more. I guess it's kind of like reassurance, right? And I guess that's why you only have 1 copy of Rebel Assault in that case. So it's still kind of an odd choice, but still, when it does go off, it is pretty nice there. And then, of course, having Tarkin Town to help take out any potential Sentinels that could prevent you from getting that damage into base is also nice as well, along with Heroic Resolve. So it's definitely a fun list. I would definitely try this out to see how well it does. I do think that this is something that likes to play pretty aggressively and pretty hard, especially if you manage to keep that 2 tubes out there reliably to keep on pumping up their damage as they're putting in damage into the base. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, remember, you're also paying 3 for the Rebel Assault too, so it's kind of wonky. I played a little bit of mono, like Tarkin Town Sabine last set. And it was you know, mostly similar to this. You know, I mean, there's only so much you could do with them. Double red in the first 3 sets, right? You know, a lot of Bo Katan, a lot of Mr. Bones, all that kind of stuff. But also, man, not having like a Darksaber in here is a little bit weird to me too.
Yeah.
Granted, you only have 1 Bo Katan, but it's like usually it's like, hey, you're Bo Katan, you're Sabine. I had Katsu in mine, and the Sabine leader. They're all Mandalorians that you can stick that onto, which was nice. I mean, I guess you kind of have Twice the Pride, which is, you don't have a lot of high health units for that, but it's also technically removal, sort of, because you can attach it to your opponent's stuff and deal 2 damage to them, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
What is this, a control deck now?
Hey, I have killed things with Twice the Pride, like out of necessity. Sometimes you just gotta just be like, oh, they swung in and killed like my Sabine leader or something, and they have 2 health left. I guess I'll just throw Twice the Pride on there. But it's not its main purpose. Don't get me wrong. I've done it before. I wouldn't put Twice the Pride in the stack though, because you already have Armed to the Teeth.
Oh, my top end is one K2SO. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know how this doesn't run out of cards. That's just like, I guess you could draw off the aggressions, and that makes sense. But like, I can see why this would lose to Quinlan, because Quinlan just goes, "Oh, you don't get that card anymore. Oh, you don't get that card."
Yeah,
it's interesting. I think there's stuff you could work with this shell. Man, I'm just not a big fan of. What do you mean you only have 1 Bo-Katan? You 3/3 that draws you a card once you hit 15 on either of your bases.
Yeah, she always goes off if you play her late game. It's just period. So, and you're right. Yeah, the Darksaber type thing is something that's an easy, you know, just like, here, let me attach that to you.
And then it just become a 7/6 that gives out experience to Sabines.
Yeah. Cool deck. The next one is a Boba Fett Mos Eisley. So this one's not super different. I just wanted to look at it without the triple dark raid. Like, what does it look like? We have a couple of locals and some, other viewers that have mentioned, I have always been very high on Boba, trying to get it to work. I would love to have a Boba Yellow that works, so I think it's better to just go Boba Red right now. It feels like it has more to it, and I think next week you'll probably, I don't know if I'll have it done by next week or not, but I've been tweaking and playing around with my Boba Red deck. But anyway, this has got the 3 First Order Troopers, 3 Daring Raids, 3 of the Allegiant Prides, 3 Kylos, 3 of the Zygerian Starhoppers, 2 No Goods, 2 Sneak Attack, which is surprising because they cut Triple Dark Raid and didn't add a 3rd Sneak Attack in. So
yeah.
3 Surprise Strikes, 2 Bobas, 3 of the Droid missile platforms, 3 Guerrilla Insurgents, 2 Waylay, 3 Fets, 3 IG-2000s, 2 Boba Pilots, 1 Old Fire Spray, 3 of the Ruthless Raiders, 3 Radiants, and 3 Devastators. Your sideboard is 1 No Disintegration, 1 more Boba Fett, 1 more No Good to Be Dead, 3 Commandeer, 1 Vader, and 3 Planetary. Which the Planetary makes sense in the side. I get that, but there's no Torpedo Barrage in here. It looks like they've cut Torpedo Barrage. So it's like they're putting units on the board versus doing a lot of the indirect damage. So now we just have the villain yellow red shell that has indirect damage kind of as a secondary option. It looks like.
I always actually kind of preferred having the more units than the Torpedo Barrage, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've been testing this. My version is a little different. I'm playing They Hate That Ship in Bib. Then it doesn't work very well. So don't do it. It's not consistent enough.
You can give them 2 TIE fighters, so you can play the same cost thing.
Well, it reduces it by 1, so it's 1 cost reduction. So I tried it. Well, the Sneak Attack's the same way. I mean, Sneak Attack is
right.
A 1 cost reduction. So it's the same thing, except for now my Sneak Attack's better, and my They Hate This Ship is extra Sneak Attacks, but you have to give them TIE Fighters. So I don't know. Somebody did that to me in my Vader deck, and I was super happy to have extra TIE Fighters. So I was oh, thank you.
I'm just glad to see Triple Radiant 7.
Yeah. And see, and I'm only running 2, but the Radiant 7 in this Boba deck is very, very good. Especially if you don't want to flip your Boba or put your Boba on the ground or something like that, that Radiant 7, when that thing comes in, and then does a 5 interact, and then you can flip your Boba onto it and just reduce their output. You can just make the whole board stop hitting you completely.
Mm-hmm.
It's just done. They're just done. So if they could kill you by 7 resources, then all right, fine, you're out of luck. But if they can't kill you before then,
honestly, I'd probably have also the Planetary Bombardment main deck, probably 2 of them, just because it dumps 12 damage. You don't even need to necessarily have the Devastator, even though that's the dream. Just doing 6 to 12 damage that they have to distribute can be pretty backbreaking. It'll speed the game up real fast if they dump that into their base.
Yeah, that's what I did in my deck. I cut my Devastators and started running 3 Planetary Bombardments in the main board instead, because then it gave me another option on that 6 resource churn. If they keep killing my ships and I can't deploy Bulba onto something, at least I can do something. At least I have something to do 8 damage with. So.
Yeah, I'd probably cut 1 Devastator, 1 Radiant, add 2 Planetaries, then bump up the 6 cost yellow Fast Fire Spray to 2 and just run a 51 card deck.
Yeah. So it's a neat deck. I don't know. We were talking to Star Wars Dad online a little bit on our YouTube page, and he's running Vader's main deck, and he says he's having a lot of success with the Vaders and the Sneak Attack. So now that you don't have to deal with the triple dark raid, right? You can sneak out a Vader on the ground. That. He says that's actually been really good for his Vader. So
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask. Is like, is it worth considering putting Vader in the main deck for it? Because I think he would be a really good inclusion there. I just don't know what I would sub out in order to put him in there. I mean, he's
tough
pretty
choice.
decent. Yeah,
You'd probably have to go either Vader's or Radiance, or like Vader's or Fast Fire Sprays. I messed around with some Vaders in my Boba deck as well, and I like them. It's just sometimes I got to make cuts, and sometimes it's a Vader. I'm still working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's move on to the next tournament. This was an 84-player store showdown, right? That's nuts. That's crazy. That's like a PQ size almost.
Damn. Yeah.
So congrats to whatever store in France that is. You had an 84-person store showdown. Like, could you imagine like rolling up thinking you're going to play against maybe 20 or 30 people and there's like almost 100 there and you're like, oh, that sucks. So I'm playing for these Devastator cards. Oh no.
This was like what, like four less players than like our PQ at Lansing.
Yep. So
Just
yeah,
a casual showdown.
Imagine scheduling a store showdown. You're just like, yeah, guys, we have to do like 8 rounds of Swiss or whatever, or like total between the whole tournament. It's wild.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do we want to cover the whole Sabine deck? I mean, it is a little bit different in fairness than like what we had been seeing.
We've gone over Sabine deck, and I think now that Jango's out, you can play more aggro more consistently, and Sabine's usually the front runner for that.
All right, why don't you hit that up, because this one's a little bit
quick.
different. Yeah. No dark sabers is crazy to me.
Yeah, I know.
It's got something very similar, which you saw at the very tail end of set 3. Anyway, so this is Sabine ECL, tried and true. This has triple pilot R2D2 and then triple regular R2D2. Triple Rebel Assault, 1 timely intervention, triple Battlefield Marine, triple the Green Squadron A-Wing, triple Pilot Luke, triple the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing, double Sabine, triple Cassian, triple Fleet Lieutenant, triple Wing Leader, triple For a Cause, triple General's Blade, triple K2SO, double Chewbacca Pilot, triple Poe, triple Wrecker. In the side, you have triple Confiscate, a second timely intervention, double Chaos of War, which is really interesting because that's off aspect, double Bright Hope, and double Champs Dula. So, I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect, I guess, out of a Green Sabine.
Not a chance, not the Chaos of War. I don't know what the hell that
Chaos
is.
of War, yeah, that's a little bit that's a little out there for what we've seen, but
I mean, you discarded it with Poe, right?
Maybe they just hate Bosk. They want to do like 8 damage to his base because he's got all these cards. That would be my assumption,
that's
honestly. True. Or like, I don't know, they let us draw the 3 cards with Trench, and now Trench actually has a hand.
Yeah, there's nothing like super crazy in here other than like not having the dark sabers is definitely different. Usually you see the dark saber over the General's Blade, but I guess it makes sense to have it. Whatever. I mean, it's what, 1 damage extra, so you could play it for one
less cost too.
Yeah, you can play it for 1 less cost, but then it gives you discounts, so you can kind of mess around with things that you want to do a little bit easier.
Yeah, but just you're not playing it for its ability, because literally no card in this deck is a Jedi, right? So it doesn't have and that one's the required of the Jedi one. It's not the Jedi lightsaber, so it's just you just get the +3/+3.
So I don't know, like there's nothing like super fancy. Only 2 Sabines is wild to me though. Like I would be running 3 Sabines if it were me, but
yeah, I'd probably cut like one of the pilot R2D2s or one of the regular R2D2s for Sabine.
Mm-hmm. She's just so good, like in this deck,
especially if like shield aggro Gar Saxon or just shield aggro stuff in general still sticks around, where Sabine could just be like, I ping off your shield and then do 2 damage, and your Crafty Smuggler or your Krennic or whatever is dead now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't personally see the value in the R2 pilot in the long run of things. Like, I guess it's a free card. Like traditionally we see Metal Ceremony in there, right? Like, and that's in my opinion, that's the first thing I would be putting in there. I would be putting 2 Metal Ceremony and then the 3rd Sabine. Like, that's how I would run that. or cut the
R2D2
timely, I
does-
guess.
Yeah.
Your R2D2 pilot does mess with a lot of math, right? Like if you play like an A-wing, and they play an A-wing, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, we're good. I can just play my R2D2 pilot, and then my A-wing will live through the other A-wing's attack. So I can see why it'd be useful. Like it does mess with some things on your early space turns.
Yeah, it's not my style. I don't know. I think with a control brain sometimes, like I just sit there and go,
I
"Oh,
agree.
hoo-hoo, good for you! You put an R2D2. That ship's gonna die next turn."
My control brain is like, why am I playing this? It depends on my game state. What if I don't have a unit? Then it's useless. But then it's like, well, normally
Never
you actually do
happens.
have units.
Well,
JJ, looks like you're going to say something. Sorry.
Go ahead, JJ.
No, I was agreeing with you guys, and just I like the composition of this one here. Just having just that nice balance, or having more additional options in both the space side as well. With the additional A-wings in there, and then adding in those pilots to just buff them up. I think that this is a really good variation of the Sabine deck, and I think the General's Blade is a good call to replace the Dark Sabers for Sabine in particular. And I would definitely like to play this list. It's pretty fun.
All right, we'll move on to the runner-up. Was a Bosk Blue, so I guess maybe that Chaos of War came in handy.
Mhm.
So JJ, you want to run through this deck? This one's like almost. Okay. This deck is almost identical to the one we covered last week, and this one does not have like this. They only have one restock. Period.
Yeah.
Nothing in the sideboard. They have Chams in the sideboard. Like, is that just for the boss screens that can all ramp you? Is that why you're worried
like
about
Piats.
it?
There's
Piats, I
Piat
guess.
and stuff,
Yeah.
And the four of us that play Palpatine.
All right, cool. So we got one copy of Restock, 3 top targets, 3 Dr. Pershings, 3 copies of Deathmark and Entrenched, 1 copy of Tech, 3 Decliants, 3 Merciless Contests, 3 Open Fires, 3 copies of Power of the Dark Side, Perilous Position, and Takedown, 3 copies of Vigilance and No Glory Only Results. We also have 3 copies of Emperor Palpatine, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Super Laser Blast, and then finally 3 copies of Avenger. And then in the sideboard, we got 3 Champs and Duelas, 3 Felder Dragons, 2 copies of the Crate Dragon, and then the last one is the Bounty
Hunters crew, baby.
Yeah.
Get my
which
events
is
back.
actually, yeah, I was gonna say that's actually a really interesting choice for this particular deck, even playing it out of aspect, but it's still a worthy addition for this boss deck here. Still very good, typical boss control deck. You're able to clamp down your opponent, put in those bounties in there, take them out, keep healing up your base until you're able to play out your finishers between Palpatine, Snoke, and Avenger. You can easily clamp down on your opponent and just crush them with overtime. And then Super Laser Blast is your get out of jail free card in case they end up deploying like 17 TIE fighters on you in one turn. But yeah, definitely a pretty decent boss list. I am interested to see how it played versus Sabine, because I feel like it should have the ability to take on Sabine, but I guess if you end up with the wrong card draw, if you're not able to play, if you keep on getting your big units in your hand in the beginning and not able to control Sabine's units, Sabine can put in a lot of damage into you really quick before you can like recover from that. So I wonder if that was one of those cases there, but still pretty strong list for Bosk.
Yeah, especially if they ramp up with that if you get a Chewbacca on a ship and then like they have like another units like that Sabine list is like, there you go. That, I guess that's the answer to the R2D2s, is that's like how they can answer some of the boss. A lot of times that's what Sabine was doing, is like figuring out how to go lower to the ground with it. So like on turn 2 you could play 2 units. But I don't know. Like traditionally Boss Blue, I would say at least had like a 45 to 50% chance beating Sabine no matter what. So I just so you know, I ran Bounty Hunter crew main deck when I played Boss last PQ season. So But that was just me.
Even out of aspect?
Out of aspect, yep. Ran it at a 6 cost. Because typically all I care about is super laser blasting the board, and then next turn I'm just playing that guy to ambush into one of their units and getting my super laser blast back. That's all I care. That's what I'm using it for. I did it with vigilance too, but
yeah, it's like main decking it a little bit strange. Sideboarding, you've seen it in a lot of sideboards, usually with like mono blue Iden and stuff like that, you know, to recur your super laser blasts and your vigilance and all that kind of stuff.
All right, well let's move on. The deck that I wanted to cover from that tournament that I thought was a little bit interesting was the Piat Blue. This also made top 8. Normally we wouldn't cover like we covered a Piat Blue before, but this, like, now that we're post Jango, this, I think Piat actually has play again. And while Piat Red is the fun version, I would consider Piat Blue probably the better version right now. At least going into like other aggro type stuff. So this deck has 3 Pershings, 3 Jaegers, which I've not seen anybody play before, but it's got 3 Jaegers. I guess it's like a 2/3 on the ground, right?
Sure. And it's a pilot. If you have a ground unit, you give your spaceship Sentinel.
Yeah.
So that's also a thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's different. 3 regional governors, 2 preparing for takeoffs, 3 super laser techs, 1. I don't even know that guy's name. What is that guy's name? Tar? Is that what his name is?
Oh, Tam.
Tam.
Vidra. I don't know the last name pronunciation. Tam. That's the one that when you attack, they get -1/-1.
Gotcha. 1 client, 2 Power of the Dark Sides, which is wild to me too. 3 resupplies, 3 surprise strikes. So we have one.
Strike true.
Sorry. Yeah, strike true. The one that basically you do damage based on like your power to something else. But okay. Anyway, we'll keep going. 1 remnant reserve, 3 of the Corvuses, 3 super laser blasts, 3 resupply carriers, 3 of the fleet interdectors, 2 turbo laser blasts, 2 of the Quintus assault carriers, Arkenton, whatever. Yeah. What did I call it? Arcadius. I'm gonna call it Arcadia. It's the Arcadius ship.
Jesus.
2 super laser blasts, 2 Avenger, 1 Relentless, 2 Devastator, and 2 Annihilator. And their sideboard is even crazier. Their sideboard is 1 restock, 1 extra prepare for takeoff, 1 of the Corona ships, because like I guess one. I don't know why that's in there, but 1 Corona ship, 1 their 3rd Power of the Dark Side, 2 of the clients, 2 more remnant reserves, 1 takedown, and 1 other turbo laser blast.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I love Corona mainly because it's a cheap capital ship for Piat, but
it's a one-off. It's a one.
Your side.
Like what are you doing with it, right? Like I know what it's there for. Like I ran it when it first came out, and then the worst part is the Sabines and the Hans would kill this stupid thing, and then next thing I know, they've got another resource, you know, and I do not need that.
Sack and confiscate over the Corona.
Yeah,
if you're really that concerned. This is kind of a wild blue Piat deck. I mean, like, I run Corvus in mine, but I also had, like, the CR90s because I like healing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Different philosophies.
I have Idens in there as well. In my I don't actually even run clients in mine. I don't see a point in the clients. I'd rather have Iden. Because the Corvus can just pick Iden up if you're lucky enough to have Iden on the ground at that time.
I actually just don't run either. my blue. But I also like main deck triple Krennic because a lot of my stuff in that deck, not so much in this one, but a lot of stuff in mine have like when defeated effects.
Yeah.
So
neat deck. I don't know. We'll move on to the red cap corner in New Jersey store showdown. No surprise there that a Han Yellow took first place. Alex, what is the new Han Yellow that we're seeing now without DJs in it?
They just kind of took a couple of cards from their sideboard and put it in the main deck. But sure, this one's actually it's interesting. There's some interesting cool things, I guess. So yeah, Han Yellow, 30 health base. There was one that had like the Bat Village, which was interesting. This one is just double Hotshot Blaster, triple of the L3, double a New Adventure main deck, which is pretty interesting. Triple Surprise Strike, double Jetpack, triple Bodhi, triple Ezra, triple the Liberated Slaves, triple the 3-cost Yellow Falcon, triple Tech, triple Waylay, double Ahsoka, triple Kira, triple Cunning, double Cantina Bouncer, double of the Mandalorian, double Zori, double the 6-cost Falcon, double Ephes Nest, the hero one, and then double Han. In the side, you have triple Bamboozle, triple Spark, double Change of Heart, and double Final Showdown.
Which is hilarious.
Yes, I love that. It is kind of interesting that this deck basically forces you, unless you pull like an L3, to resource your first turn to play anything, because the only 2 drops are your L3s. So it's like first turn you're trying to go for Bodhi, Ezra, Falcon. Any of those, I think, would probably be your best bets. Obviously, the Falcon probably your best bet.
Or it's the liberated people also as well, like because that one can't be Tarkin Town. That's why that's the tech against the Tarkin Town BS, right? Like if they want to
just let them kill my first turn play, it's fine. I don't care. If I play Bodhi, I already ripped a card out of their hand. I don't need the 3/3 anymore if they're gonna blow Tarkin Town on something like Bodhi. Oh well, like this Han deck should be able to like not really care if they Tarkin Town their first thing, unless it's like Ezra, because that's like actually kind of rough, or the Falcon, I guess. But yeah, you could probably come back from it.
Yeah, I like this deck a lot. This is actually the first deck that I thought of, post Jango being banned. Is the style list, right? You have a lot of different options here, a lot of flexibility to have some really great early plays, and then you have some really great closers on there. Mine was a little more balanced for space than they are, but I still like the composition of this deck a lot. Just having a lot of great options here early on, or mid game rather, to help control the board and keep your units out there. The longer your opponent takes to take out your list, the stronger you get here. So yeah, that's good.
The a lot of smuggle in this too, so probably into like a good like heavy hand destruction like Quinlan deck. You do have smuggling on a lot of your cards, like the 6-cost Falcon, Zori, obviously Tech, and also that gives everything smuggle. You actually have the jetpacks, the L3 hotshot blasters, bunch of really. So it's nice that they built that in to the deck.
Yeah. I think that's where you see a little bit more success with the Han right now, is because you can do some of those crazy things with it. And yellow has a lot of really good smuggle cards. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. We have an Obi Green was the runner-up there. Definitely a different Obi Green than we talked about last time. This one is a little bit different.
Much more of an Obi-Wan deck that I would run.
Yeah, this feels a little bit more Sentinel-ish than some of the other decks that we've seen. So, JJ, what is this deck?
So we got 3 copies of Battlefield Marine and Luke Skywalker, 3 copies of the Phoenix Squadron A-Wings and the Restored Oryx, 3 copies of Blue Leader and Concord Darn Interceptors, 3 copies of Huel Young and Sindari Peacekeepers, 3 Jedi Lightsabers, and 2 copies of Perilous Positions, 3 copies of Bright Hope and Kanan Jarrus, and then we got 2 copies each of Takedown and Fill the Dragon, 2 The Forces With Me, and 2 Chewbacca's, 2 General Rakens, and 3 Luke Skywalker ground units, and then 2 U-Wing reinforcements. And then on the sideboard, we got 2 home ones, 1 additional Chewbacca, 1 additional Fellow Dragon, 3 scanning officers, and 3 confiscates on the sideboard there. Definitely, yeah, very heavy on the Sentinel piece there, between all the space units that can have that Sentinel piece, and then of course you got your ground units that can do a fair amount of attacking on their end there. I guess you're just trying to prevent your your space units or your enemy space units from just overrunning you, and just having those Concordan interceptors and the Bright Hope from allowing your units or your opponent's space units from coming in there and then just attacking from the ground there. Definitely has a bit of a control piece too, with all the different units to or cards to take down and fell the dragon, your opponent's big units out there. And then Perilous Position is always a classic to just help neuter your opponent's offense or just straight out kill something really quick. I do like this a lot. It does play into Obi's ability to constantly heal damage from those sensor units if your opponent's not able to kill it out right there. And between the different restores they have on and the list as well, you just regenerating all that health, making it difficult for your opponent to take this out really quick. So I like the composition of this list a lot. It's pretty good.
No Yodas. No Yoda and no Rivals Fall seem wild to me.
Yeah, and I kind of expected to see the old Obi-Wan in here as well. But still, I mean, General Reagan is a nice add-on for this.
Yeah, I mean, you also have Obi-Wan leader himself, which helps out a lot.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of the Forces with me. I have the minority opinion on that. I almost never have it in any of my decks.
I mean, it depends, right? You know, if you don't have many Force units, then I would say yeah. But in this one here, you got.
I mean, you got a bunch.
Yeah, you got a bunch. I mean, yeah.
I understand that. I just never felt like it's worth its cost. But that again, I'm in like the minority opinion. I do not like that card. So yeah, those could be Yodas. I don't care. Or like Fells or
Fells,
Rivals or whatever. You know, home ones. It is kind of weird to me that they don't have either Redemption or Home One in the main deck. Usually, you're on one of them. I get the home ones on the side, but you know. Stick a Jedi lightsaber on an Obi-Wan leader, and your opponent just has a really rough time doing anything.
So, all right, it's a neat deck, definitely different than what we had seen before. The fourth place winner has a Luke Pilot 30 health blue base. I was like, all right, this is I've not played this at all, so let's cover this because he's got Anakin unit in there, and I can't wait to have that conversation in a minute. So this deck has 2 Force Throws, 2 Trench Runs, 2 of the A-Wings, 3 of the Red Y-Wing Bombers, 3 Restore Arcs, 3 Sabines, 2 of Luke's lightsaber. Which I get it a little bit because you have 4 targets for it, but Jedi lightsaber is also in there. I don't know. Feels a little overkill. 2 Cassians, 2 or 3 Concords, 3 of the Red 5s, 3 Yoda, 3 of the 4 Cause, 2 Jedi lightsabers, 3 K2SOs. There's your favorite card, Alex. The Force is with me. 2 of those, 2 Anakins, 2 Obis, Aether Sprites, 3 Obi-Wan ground units, 2 Rivals Fall, and 3 Luke Skywalkers. Your sideboard is 2 Techs, 3 of the Village People, 2 Crate Dragons, and 3 Fang Fighters. That is probably the first sideboard that I have seen that I actually agree with. Overall, actually, that is a sideboard 100% that I can get on board with every one of those cards.
Yeah.
The Luke's lightsaber is wild to me, but I guess it's still a lightsaber that's a +3/+1, right? But
yeah, and you got 3 Lukes, and if you have to deploy Luke on the ground, your leader,
yeah,
you know, it's not a bad card. But also just attaching it to like a Yoda is a pain because it just becomes a 5/5 restore too.
Yeah, I almost just feel like I like the I would rather have 1 extra Cassian and 1 other Jedi lightsaber in that place. Or I guess you could get rid of the Forces with me. How about that? There you go. There's no Kanans in this deck. They instead of Kanan, they have the Anakin Skywalker. Well, I guess there you go. He's a Force user too. I didn't think about that, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Force users. You got Yoda, Anakin, Obi, Luke, and then your leader Luke. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't run the Forces with me. I would probably, actually swap it out for Kanan or It's interesting. Also, I'm sorry. This is weird that they have Anakin Skywalker.
Yes. I don't know why.
I mean, he's a 6'6". You got to coordinate. I guess you have a bunch of low cost stuff here. Kiadi Moody is also an interesting choice if you're trying to go for that. It doesn't work for a cause, but it does almost always draw you a couple cards if you have the coordinate anyways, right?
Yep. And that's a 5/7. So
and doesn't die to Plo Koon in one hit.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I like it. It's cool. I was toying around with Pilot Luke leader because I'm just, one of my buddies just like, I haven't really found anything good with them. I'm just like, green seems easy and obvious, but blue might be interesting. A lot of good pilots in blue. Not that this deck has those blue pilots, but
yeah, if you think about it, it's kind of like the Anakin deck a little bit, except for it has flexibility for Luke as a pilot to do Luke shenanigans, but you're hitting for one. So instead of you pinging your base, right, to be a little bit more crazy, you're pinging one to other units, which is kind of a thing. But you don't have a ton of fighters in there. I mean, I guess you could swing with your Concord Don, right? I guess like I've never in my life swung with a Concord Don. Like even if I miss the trigger, like I just they claim and I still have it ready. Sometimes I don't even swing with it because I don't even think about it because I just never do it.
16 fighters, you got enough. You got plenty.
All right, but like I don't know. I think that like outside of that, like I still think like Luke being able to do those shenanigans is kind of nice. The ping, and you get to choose where the ping goes. So that's like a lot better than like the CAD where they get to choose and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, you do lose out on a lot of initiative, though, because you do have to use your action to exhaust them to do 1 damage.
Yep.
But sometimes 1 damage really matters.
Yeah, especially if they have like a sentinel you had to get around, or if they have something on the ground where you need to be able to clear the way for make sure they don't take your Yoda off the board.
If you want to ping a shield off something and then swing into it with a different unit.
Yeah. I like the deck.
Yeah.
The other one I wanted to cover was a Kaz thermal oscillator because the thermal oscillator I'm not 100% sold on over just the red base, but whatever. Like, I do genuinely like Kaz as a leader, and I do think red like seems to be the most viable that we've seen at least like now. And this deck is kind of wild because this deck is like very event heavy, which I'm not sold on an event heavy Kaz deck. There's more events I think in this deck between the sideboard and main board than there is units.
Yeah, there's 24 units in a 45 card deck.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, I would hate to like play a thermal oscillator Kaz and just draw like 6 events. I'd be so upset.
Yeah.
So anyway, Alex, why don't you cover it? I wanted to go over this list because I do think this is an interesting take on Kaz Red.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it. I also have a Kaz thermal oscillator. Mine has a lot more units than this, but this is you got triple heroic sacrifice, triple they hate that ship, triple trench run, all makes sense. Triple black one, triple fireball, triple the red squadron Y wings. Perfect, that's fine. No notes. Triple jump to light speed. I like the card, a little bit iffy. Triple keep fighting, triple sneak attack, triple surprise strike, triple the 3-cost yellow falcon, triple the stolen AT hauler, triple the tactical heavy bomber, which I love that card. Triple of the corporate light cruiser, that's the 4/6 ambush raid 1 for 6 ship, and then triple home 1 goes really well with they hate that ship. In the sideboard, you have double confiscate, double snapshot reflexes, double swoop down, double bamboozle, and then double commandeer. I feel like you'd get most of like half these cards in like a Garzaxon deck.
Yeah.
not like a Kaz deck. It's wild.
Does this Kaz deck just like auto lose to control? Like, is this just like an auto loss? Like you're putting 1 or 2 ships on the board, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah, I feel like if your opponent can't control the units that you're playing, this deck might suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe no one plays controlled by them. Who knows? Maybe like it's just too fast because reasons.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to have some pretty good luck getting cards out in the beginning, though. Like that's still risky, right? You know, you have a very good chance of pulling nothing on your first hand in Mulligan, considering half your deck is more than half your deck is just pure events. So it's, I mean, I'm sure there's been more than one time where they just simply didn't have anything to play first time, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
So I have a question, right?
Yeah, go on.
If you have that, they hate that ship and that tactical bomber on Kaz's flip turn, that's doable, right? Like you can play that tactical bomber with they hate that ship and then throw Kaz on there, correct?
Yeah, I mean it knocks the cost off by 2, right? So
yep.
If you play they hate that ship, you're playing the tactical bomber, 3 resources or whatever.
Yep, and then you can play Kaz on there. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that tactical heavy bomber is so nice with keep fighting and stuff, because I have a mono red Poe deck. That tactical bomber is huge, and then you also have they don't have it here, which is kind of sad. Stay on target with indirect ships makes you draw more cards, because that is the unit doing damage to the base with the on attack. Which is very funny with the tactical heavy bomber, because they have to eat 5 indirect damage. If they put any of it on their base, you draw 2 cards to help fuel it. You don't really need it in a 45 card deck. But yeah, it works. That ship's really good. If they have 1 spaceship and you have 4 resources, you could play they hate that ship and then drop a home 1 on them, which is always very, very fun at 4 resources.
That's dirty.
I have done that.
Have you ever put Kaz on it then after that?
I didn't need to, because I usually had Kaz on something else, because you're at 4 resources. So, I put them into a Falcon or a Fireball or something, and then also play they hate that ship in home 1. I also have War Juggernaut in mind, because they hate that ship. They get the TIE Fighters first, because that's how it is on the card. Then you play the War Juggernaut, you just kill the 2 TIE Fighters that they played.
Oh my god, you scummy bastard.
Yeah, well, it's in my blood.
Right. But I like this. I like this list, but I would not run this many events either. I think I would drop the jump to light speeds. I don't know. Do you even need the sneak attacks? Do you just jump both of those for other units? I think that's what I do.
Yeah, the sneak attack is a little bit weird to me.
I was gonna say, I mean, there's edge cases, right, where you know that your opponent's probably gonna go in and take out that unit, so you just push it in and try to get as much damage out as much as possible. I mean, it is an edge case, but yeah, it is a little weird.
That's the same thing.
The heavy bomber's not bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I get it. I do get it, because people are telling me I should be running that in my Vader deck, and I don't. I don't know what I would cut to put sneak attacks in, but I don't know. I like it. I think this is a good deck. Kaz is one of the leaders that we had kind of. I believe Kaz was it could be one of the top leaders. He's got action cheating, and now that there's not a Jango to kill all his stuff or tap him down all the time, I think he could be one of the first 4 cost pilot leaders that could break through in the meta. We'll see. So.
Yeah, and I did the calculations with 9 units and a 45 card deck. Like this, you will get an opening place 76% of the time.
Is that the same as 12 and a 50% deck? Or 12 and a 50 card deck?
12 and a 50, I think, is higher.
Okay.
12 and a 50 is 83%, 82%. So
that's pretty close.
I'm not sure if I want to give up the 6% in an aggro deck, though.
No. Well, I think that's where you just get rid of those jump to light speeds, right? And then that's you could put something out. There's lots of other things that you could put in there.
8 wings.
Yeah, that just fit in there.
It works with Trench Run and all that stuff too. They're fighters.
Yeah. But then if you redo your calculation, then are you over that 82% then technically?
Because you have a 45 card deck.
Yeah. So now you're probably closer to that 90% range then, which then makes
87%. But
there you go.
That's plenty.
Yeah, that's really good. So I like it. I think that there's something there with that Kaz deck, and I think your Dirty Mind and they hate that ship and
Home ones and War Juggernauts is super fun. Let me tell you, you should see the look on my opponents' faces.
Is it the same look they gave you when you play your trench deck and they cry a little bit?
No, they get up and leave if I play the trench deck. As they should.
All right. Well, for the last few minutes of the show, I wanted to kind of cover some decks that we've been playing since the new thing. So we have an academy training where we'll talk a little bit about some of the new decks. All right, welcome to our academy training. So we got some decks that the guys submitted to me, and thought we'd go through a few of them. You know, maybe they're meta, maybe they're not meta. JJ's Han is definitely a different take on the normal Han. So these are not just going to be something you're going to say, oh hey, this is a meta, let's just pick this up and play. But they're things that we found are fun, and like I kind of like doing those segments where hey, these are some weird decks that we've been playing, and maybe you guys should check them out. So JJ, you want to go over it? We'll do your deck first. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one I have here, or the deck that I've been working on here, is Choppy Han. So it's a Han with chopper base on here. So the whole theme of this is to have a little bit of control while ramping up to have some big units out there to help close out the game there. So,
but no chopper unit. There's no chopper unit.
Just chopper base. Yeah, just chopper base. So we got 2 copies of R2D2 and a Shoot First, as well as Snapshot and C3PO, 2 Leia Organas, 2 Surprise Strikes, 2 copies of Death Star Plans, 2 Bodhi Rooks, 2 Death Space Skirmishers, 3 copies each of the 3-cost Millennium Falcons, 2 copies of Ahsoka Tano. We got 2 copies of the Gamorrean Guards, 2 Kiras, 2 Strafing Gunships, 3 Cantina Bouncers, 2 Chewbacca, 2 Chewbaccas. We got 3 copies of the Han Solo Pilots. We got 2 copies of the Mandalorian, 3 copies of the 6-cost Millennium Falcon, 3 Han Solos, and 2 home ones to round off the list there. And then on the sideboard, I have 3 copies each of it's a new adventure. Cloud Riders, Lux Bonteri, and then of course Bamboozle as the last one there. So essentially, as I was playing this and playing Han Solo, I really wanted him to have the Millennium Falcon. So I wanted to make sure that I had the greatest chance of having him on a Millennium Falcon on there. The most preferred one is the newer one that allows you to play 1 more additional pilot, just so I can put him in the Falcon along with the Mandalorian, just to help put a little bit of control there. And once he's on there, it kind of acts as the space version of the ground Han Solo, just being able to deal that damage first before your opponent can damage you. Just a really big threat out there on the board. And then, of course, having some good Sentinel units out there for between Chewbacca that can just, keep on reactivating every time he gets attacked, assuming they're still alive. And then Death Star Plans was kind of a call to act as a pseudo Sentinel upgrade, right? Because your opponent doesn't want that out on the board out there. So I can pull like a Bodhi Rook, make you discard a card, put Death Star Plans on him, and your opponent has to choose to either go into Bodhi, which he's already done what he needs to do, or constantly allow me to get that discount on playing out cheaper units. That combined with Han's ability allows me to get some of these bigger units out there earlier. And then just really mess up the board. Gamorrean Guards being another classic unit that I just went out there for a cheap Sentinel unit that has a good amount of health and attack out there to help me get to where I want to with the rest of the list there. So yeah, this
is what we call the Han budget deck.
Yes,
because you have no cunnings in here whatsoever.
I thought about it, but half of the time, like I feel like I want to either just play a unit instead to just force my opponent's hand there. So I play a little more aggressively than I want than a cunning would offer me. I know there's some benefits for having cunning, but for me, every time I've had cunning, like I tend to not use it in the most opportune time. So yeah.
I don't know. I can't see a world where competitive lists wouldn't have been all yellow wouldn't have 3 cunnings, but Quick question: do we get a yellow Luke just so that we can run this deck with yellow Luke, and we have Leia, C-3PO, R2D2, Luke, all in one ship, like or all in one deck, like and Han.
I would love that. Yeah.
Also, JJ, you have a 12 card sideboard. Which ones are at 2 copies?
The Lux Bonteri and A New Adventure. They should be only 2, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Nah, JJ's tournament taking this to tournaments.
DQ them immediately. No.
Yeah, all right.
So,
and my other question is, what number do you call with C-3PO? If you don't have R2D2 out there, obviously.
I'm probably calling 3s mainly because I'm using C-3PO to hopefully pull a Falcon because I want to have a Falcon out as much as possible. So I'm using that particular combo mainly just to try to pull the Falcon out. And that's 6 cards, Falcons that I could possibly pull out of my deck. That's probably my greatest chance of getting that out.
Yeah, you have 10 3-costed cards. So I was just curious because, you also have 7 or no, you also have 10 5-costed cards too.
Yeah.
So it's just I wonder which one he's calling here. You got 8 2-costers, one of them C-3PO, so really it's 7. So I was just curious.
Yeah.
So all right, neat little deck. I would recommend fitting Cunning in there, but that's just my opinion. So,
yeah, I mean, I could probably drop Strafing Gunship to put in the Cunnings in there. I think that's probably the better call.
Yeah, you really got to have. I think you almost have to have Cunning in here. But all right, so Kaz Blue, been testing this a little bit. This is, I don't know how sold I am in the Fugitive Wookiees personally, but I liked it. I like the fact that Kaz can put it down. I also was looking at maybe going a little bit more like 1-cost units, and you could just ignore the sideboard. The sideboard is just it's nothing. That's not actually what that's just cards in there that I had thought of that could be. Yeah. Like I actually don't use I don't know why I would ever want to loop. Like I don't know if I ever want to get that high with this deck. But I have 3 cartel spacers, 2 jam communications, 3 of the corporate defense shuttles, 3 of the echo-based defenders, the blue-colored ones, 3 fireball, 2 of the fugitive Wookiees, 3 arcs, 170 restores, 3 covering the wing, 3 sparks, 3 surprise strikes, 3 Concordon interceptors, 3 Falcon of the new old school falling apart Falcon, and 3 of the young Falcon, 3 AT haulers, 3 village protectors, 3 of the frontier. I think it's the frontier AT-ATs.
The
2
perimeter AT-RTs.
Yeah, there you go. Perimeters. 2 Hans, 2 Commandeer, and 1, which probably doesn't need to be there, but I like running 51 cards, so I threw a 51st card in there.
You threw a one-off for your 51 card.
I did. Yep, just because I can.
Tech.
Yep, and it's not tech. Nope. I actually just like that card. Like in late game, I like that card, but it's just
kind of have some fringe units, I guess. The village protectors are fringe.
Yeah.
So you could put another shield on that.
Yeah. This was very successful for me in pre-release weekend. So I had been running more of them, but I find that I don't typically get up that high. There's enough Sentinel and things in here, and once Kaz hits a ship, it's just easy to just I can attack, and move on. And then this perimeter or that perimeter ship is bonkers. That ship is that stupid AT is stupid. You can put Kaz on that stupid thing.
Yeah, the 3/5 Sentinel that you can also put Kaz in, so now it's a 6/8 Sentinel.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's how they designed it. If somebody missed that in the design. But when you put Kaz in that thing, if you're not playing against a control deck, against a Sabine deck, see you Sabine. There you go. I just play that.
I put a Saj on that in a draft, which was just brutal.
Yeah. But it just, I don't know. It works really well, and like especially against like a Sabine and against Quinlan, like you just put that in there, and like I could play it before you could deploy your Sabine and upgrade her. I don't know. I like it. I like I said, ignore the sideboard. The sideboard is just BS. It's not like I don't like the text and the perilous positions are probably the only things that I would like keep out of all that at this current time. Though the Obi ship is kind of nice. I don't know. I don't know. So there you go. This is my blue yellow Kaz deck.
It's weird that we both independently made blue Kaz decks.
Yeah, right.
But yours has Security Complex. Mine has Colossus.
Well, so Alex, it all goes back to when you played Blue Han and Blue Han became popular. When Jango first came out, we actually started testing Blue Han, Kaz Blue, and one other blue deck. I don't know. My brain's already farting at this point in the night. But we had like 3 blue decks that were like yellow blue decks that we were testing and cycling through to try to see which one was better against Jango. And that's kind of where the idea for this Kaz deck kind of came about. Being able to do the extra to be able to shield up Sentinels and then just hit their base with things. It seemed really good for it. So
fair. Yeah, I get it.
All right. Move on to your Dooku deck.
Sure. I updated my Dooku deck. It doesn't have TDR anymore.
Yeah.
Just didn't want it, I guess.
Well, you don't get to use it to pull shit early anymore.
I know. That was so good. Man, pulling an invisible hand off a TDR for 4 resources was just backbreaking for my opponent.
Yeah.
Maybe the reason that card's banned, who knows. So this is Dooku Nabat. Seems like I'll take the 3 extra damage on my base for a better chance at pulling some key cards. So this is double salvage, double the Obedient Vanguards, double swoop down, triple B1 security team, triple separatist commandos, 8 vultures, because this is a vulture deck. 8 vultures, triple droid deployment, triple the contracted jump masters. I needed a sentinel to protect my vultures and whatnot. Triple droid commando, double frozen and carbonite, underrated card. Love that card now. Double of the infiltrated demolishers, double rush Clovis. Separatist card that you can drop early for 2 resources. Really good. Double B2 legionnaires, double the Genosis patrol fighters, triple overwhelming barrage, triple invincible, triple invisible hand, and double reinforcement walker. In the side, which I'm still working on, is a double no good to me, double merciless contest, double phase 3 dark troopers, because they're droids that you can pull off the invisible hand, double waylay, and double of the mono black invisible hand. And basically what this is try to hit the invisible hand, because that pulls out a bunch of vulture droids. They're separatist units, and you can exploit things. Your invincible costs 5 because you're a unique separatist card. So you can just drop that turn 2 if you exploit something. And then you got a 6/6 space unit that they have to deal with.
Which is really
good,
the
rest,
by the way.
Yes. And then there's a whole bunch of droids in here that you can pull off the invisible hand. If it costs 2 or less, you can play it immediately, like your vulture droids or the B1 security team. There's been plenty of times where I swing in with the invisible hand and then just drop a ground sentinel, so I don't have to worry about 1 attack. And then, you get the Vita Vanguards and all that kind of stuff. Rush Clovis is just, honestly, just like a solid plug-in piece. He hits for 5. He's got 5 health. Sometimes you get a free droid out of it if they have no readied resources.
Yeah, I mean, if you have enough units on the ground or units in play, you don't have to like swing with him first. You just dirtle and just be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna swing with my 1/1 battle droid, guys.
Yeah, or hey, I want to swing with one of my 4 vulture droids. Please spend all your resources trying to deal with them so I can swing in with Rush Clovis.
Yeah. It's a dirty deck. I actually played the TDR version of it for a little while online. I didn't use the 27 health base, but
yeah, that's a new addition because don't have TDR anymore, so I really need that invisible hand.
yeah. But this was fun. I think I would reconsider those walkers for those trident units.
Yeah,
like just because they're
caught the Tridroids out of it.
I don't know. I would
to make sure like the reinforcement walkers is just if the game goes a little bit long and they have a lot of ground that you don't generally have too much, they help you just get back. Or worse, you just draw cards.
Yeah,
which is always good.
I don't know. It just feels maybe they should. I feel they could be like a sideboard thing, and then but I like those trident. I just like those trident droid things in there a lot.
Yeah, the one play just exhaust a ground unit.
Yeah, so it's just really like I think that like is really good. Maybe those are sideboard material or something like that, but I don't know. All right, the last deck that we have is we're revisiting my Vader yellow deck. So I will tell you at locals I am 12-0 with this deck basically. So I have lost individual games, but I've not dropped best of threes with this yet. Close on a couple of times, but Han can be a pain in the butt if you don't draw right. And there's actually, I might be moving towards a few more 1-drops in there, and I might be moving off of the contracted jump masters, but I don't know. It's so really hard to, it's really hard to not want those. Like, there's only 2 of them, but I don't know. They're so good if they have something that could kill your shit in space. Like oh, you played a Falcon.
Your space units, it makes sense that you want a Space Sentinel.
Yeah, and it's so much better than the Black Sun. Like I tested Black Sun. This, like, because when you upgrade this with one of the stupid pilots, it's now just a 3/5. So it lives a lot longer than other things do.
You want the extra health over the extra attack power for sure.
Yeah, and if somebody, you know what, if somebody swings into it, I just play one of the lead or one of the stupid pilots on it, and then you could, if you want to Tarkin Town it. Now you have to swing into it a second time. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I have a hard time. Like, I don't like the surprise strikes personally. That's just me though, because like, I feel that like I'm doing 90% of my damage on turn 4 is when I'm doing my damage. So, but anyway, I'll read the list, and then we get. I want Alex's opinion and JJ's opinion on my weird Fang fighters in my sideboard because they're hilarious, and I have not been able to play them. Like, every time they either get discarded out of my hand or like I had to resource it because I have like something better to play. But I have cited those in every game just to see if I could play them. So in the main deck, I have 3 of the First Order ties, 3 Tai Lins, 3 Cartel Spacers, 3 Kajimis, 3 Victor 2 pilots, 3 of the Zygerian Starhoppers, 3 No Good to Me Dead, 3 Surprise Strike, 2 Contracted Jump Masters, 2 of the Death Race Scrimmagers, 3 Sanctioner Shuttles, 3 7th Fleet Defenders, 3 AT, the Stolen AT Haulers, 3 of the Victor Leader Vader's ship, 3 of the Victor 3s, 2 Clone, I don't know what it was, Clone Scout Commanders or something like that.
Clone Combat Squadrons.
There you go. 2 of the Geonosian Fighters and 3 OBs. The sideboard has this is the sideboard I'm testing right now. In my on-site deck at I don't have waylays anymore. The one I'm running to locals is 3 of the Black Squadron, 3 of the Gray Fang Fighter, the flanking one, 3 of the TIE, whatever they call it, the TIE Phantoms, and then 1 outmaneuver is what I have currently. But I don't know. So this deck does things that people don't believe it can do. If you play a Kajimi fighter and they can't kill that ship, like the first turn, I can capture something, and like you mulligan really hard for your capture, or your death race things like you mulligan for them. The no good to me deads are just like in case crap happens, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't play those as often. They are typically like they are really good against Han. You put a Chewbacca in your Falcon. I'll just no good to me at it and claim and call it a day. Like, and then you're gonna either pick it up or you're gonna wait 2 turns to be able to use your Falcon. The same way with like when like against Poe's, like, oh, you put Poe in there. Well, I'm not good to be that ship and force you to move your Poe next turn. So I don't know. It's a neat little deck. I have had that stupid clone squadron ship at 12-12 before. And if you put that's without Vader, and if you put Vader on that stupid thing, like if they can't bamboozle it or kill it, like I mean Vader just like I don't know. Thank God Vader doesn't come out on 5 resources. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, that'd be bonkers.
Yeah, this deck would just like I would never that you would almost never lose if Vader did that. So.
Yeah, I mean, having experienced this deck firsthand, I mean, this thing just it's very, very difficult to come back once you get this started here. I absolutely do like the inclusion of the Fang Fighters on the sideboard there because I think they're a great addition. You're always going to have token units which counts as fighters on there. So yeah, I think that's a correct call to add on there, especially if you want to have a little more little more options on your main deck, especially if your opponent's a little more space heavy. I think it's a correct call for this list.
I actually played something very similar to this in Ann Arbor, but I had my trench decks, so it was like, well, 3 of his ships are frozen in carbonite, 3 of them have entrenched, and I'm just eating like 4 damage a turn from some TIE fighters, and they actually have the Republic Y-Wings, the 1/3s for 1s in there. But yeah, I mean, like, this is swarm space, right?
Yeah.
And then that's how it works. And then drop the clone squadrons and then OB and wipe out their entire board.
Yep. Or drop a clone squadron and throw Vader in it.
Yeah. I mean, just make some huge units, and it's really hard for them to out that unless they have something like a Super Laser Blast or Rivals Fall or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. In the sideboard, do you think those Fang Fighters are worth it? Like, they're really nice as like they're like another 4/3, so they almost feel better than the lurking or the TIE Phantoms. I
don't like the TIE Phantoms at all, just in general, right now. But especially for this kind of deck, I also don't really think those Fang Fighters are worth it, though. I mean, they're nice, but it's a 4/3 for. That's a conditional 4/3 for 3, which is really expensive.
Yeah, the difference is you do typically have at least 1 or 2 TIE fighters out there.
But yeah, I know you can get off the rate 2 because almost your whole deck is fighters. It's just I'm not sure if the 4/3 space for 4 or for 3 is quite worth it over having something else. What the other something is, I'd have to work on that.
I mean, when you start factoring in the pilots like Victor 3, or even just a Vader leader on there, I mean that's a pretty decent platform to put it on right off the bat, especially if you just happen to have those draws where you can't pull out your Geonosian fighter. I think that's still a pretty decent chassis to deploy it on. I think it's worth it, honestly.
I mean, you can have like TIE daggers, in your sideboard if they're killing a lot of your spaceships, and therefore they're taking damage back. Like doing 2 damage to them just one played isn't the worst. Or even those E-wings, the 4/1 ambush guys, your escort fighters.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a consideration too. You see those in decks that are just like, hey, I need a space thing right now, or maybe even like ground sentinels because you don't really have ground units. So like a phase 3 trooper or something might not be too bad. Or maybe the Gamorreans, because you do have a lot of yellow as well.
Yeah, I do not have any ground.
Right. Your ground units are, well, Backstabber, Mauler couldn't find a ship, and I guess I could deploy Vader down there too if I need to.
Well, the Vader deploy is if you can win by putting him on the ground, that turn or the turn after, you always just put him on the ground. Because they don't put sentinels down. The best was the first game I dropped to the Han Green, and so the next one I just played the Victor instead of playing my opening, because he was just gonna instead of resupplying, they just decided to kill my ships. So I just put the Victor 2 on the ground, the opening play, and then they're like, oh, well, they didn't have a counter to do that, and it's like, yeah, well, that's 3 damage. And the next turn I was able to surprise strike it in and drop a TIE LN on the other side of it. So that is like, well, now you can kill the TIE LN, and I just surprise striked you, and I've just done 6 damage, and now you got to deal with it. And I don't know. I don't really like those Victor 3s personally. They're not my favorite, but it's kind of hard not to have like that other, one drop in there to help with that curve.
Yeah. So. And my theme.
Yeah. I want to win a little bit more than theme, but
just do both. Easy.
Fair enough. So, all right. Well, that was kind of some of the lists that we've been running. Some of the fun things that we've been trying to put together. Next week, I have a store showdown. I don't know what I'm taking to my store showdown. I'm in between maybe Kaz or the Vader deck, because that's what I've always ran, or maybe I'll bring Trench just because I can.
Ruin everyone's time.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I mean, like, I'm tempted to actually
it's a wildly fun deck.
Take that Trench deck to the regional in Richmond. Like, I'm this close to just doing that. I don't need the showcase though for it, so like, I don't know if it'll do well enough. But it would be nice to just be able to put it on the radar, so people like I had somebody ask me, why are you running Trench over any of the other villain leaders in yellow? And it's like, well, it's because he can dig, and he can, he could tutor through his hand a lot easier than other leaders can, and he's an end unit, period. Like, he
deploys multiple times a game.
Yeah, like, all I have to do is, like, I could kill things on the ground that I need to, and if I don't want to kill things on the ground, I can use them at the very end of the game when I have no cards to kill things with anymore, or to do damage to the base, and there he is. He swings for 4 every effing time,
Yeah.
I'm tempted to put blasters in the sideboard just for, like, control decks, so that I could just have those in there and then deploy Trench and throw a blaster on them at the end game.
Have you rivaled your own Trench to get him back? Because
yes.
I did that once.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta.
Yep.
Sometimes your opponent's not cooperating and they're not killing your Trench.
Yeah, so like, well, one time, I went 3 turns, so they didn't want to kill Trench. It's like, oh my god, will you just kill him so I can dig again? Stop it! I just want it.
I brought him here for the card draw, not for him to be like on the ground.
Yeah. Ugh, but I had somebody play an entrenched on him too one time, and I was like, oh, thank you. Like, all right, you better not put anything on the ground anymore.
Yeah, right. It's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah, I was like, I have my own to do that with, but I mean, if you're going to pay the cost of the 2 for me, I'm not upset by it. And he's a leader. He's like the leader unit, whereas like Poe in the ship is not like a leader. So you can't like just kill him with certain things. So anyway,
but they can with takedown.
They can with takedown, yeah. But I'm not. If you take them down on that sad, like, you just burnt 4 resources for my free flip that I could just do next turn. So I burnt 3, you burnt 4. I think I'm coming out ahead on that one, and I got a card out of it. So
yeah.
All right. Anyway, we will be back next week with more stuff. I'm sure we'll have a little bit more coverage for the meta. We'll talk a little bit about Richmond, what you could run if you're going out to Richmond. And I don't know, we'll see, and maybe we'll have some special guests on or something like that. I don't know. So we'll see. What you need to do is convince JJ he needs to come to Richmond too, so that way we can all hang out and get a team picture again. So
come on, JJ. It's like less than 4 hours for you. That's easy.
Yeah, you can make that in one day. You could drive out there in the morning and drive back at night. We go to Chicago all the time.
That's fair. Yeah.
Now, normally I get a hotel for at least one of those nights because I'm old, but so Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the Flippity Flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.